so that you can send beautiful documents to your clients. We'll discuss cover page background design, image resolution or size, making the most of PandaDoc's building blocks, and other basic design elements that will help
Hey,
you customize the look and feel of your templates.
hey everybody, James here. Tara, just to double check, you make sure we're recording, please. Thank you so much.
I have pushed the recording button. Thank you. Also, feel free to download our handouts that are included in the webinar. There's some great information in there, and some of it will be relevant to what you'll see today. If you have questions during the call, please type them in the question box, and we will answer those questions around the middle of the presentation and then again at the end. So the specific things we're going to look at today, let's go over to our PandaDoc window here. And I'm going to open this Design Basics template that I started to work on earlier. So here we have a cover page block, and we have some image blocks and image text blocks. So we'll walk through these together. So I just pulled over the cover page block. You'll see that here on the right. Drop it in. And it's a big white background. I have a logo area, a title area, and then a text area. You cannot add any additional blocks to the cover page, so you kind of have to work within the limitations of these 3 blocks. But you can design and upload a background image. So I clicked on the cover page here, and it brought up the cover page settings on the right, and the background image would be uploaded right here. So the way you create this image, it's an 8.5 by 11 for US paper, and those specs are, one second here. So the specs are for US letters 1700 pixels wide by 2200 pixels high, and for A4 or international paper, your specs would be 1700 pixels wide by 2405 high. I'm going to paste these into our template here. Pull one other thing out. So this is the template that we're going to kind of recreate. I've already put one together. And in here, we have the information for the image sizes. I'm just going to print a copy of this and go back to our new template. And here we have it. So I uploaded that image, and you will see that it filled the background. And again, those dimensions for your cover page are US 1700 by 2200 pixels, and A4 17 by 2405. Now here in the logo block, you can add your logo. I believe I have one in here already. And I'm using, if you notice, our image library. So you can have this enabled and you can save your images or store them here in your image library to use repeatedly instead of having to upload them each time. You can also set this to be left, center, or right. I'm going to place it in the center. And here on this text block, you can choose a 2-column layout or a single column. Now you'll notice that it's hard to see my text because it's black on that dark background. And what I want to do is maybe lighten that up so I can highlight the text. And up here in PandaDoc is our editor. So I see that this says font color, then I'm going to change that to white. So now I have that updated to white, and if I bring it back up, you can see it against there. You can choose any color in our palette here to use throughout your text blocks. On the heading blocks, which is what you see here, we have an H1. You can also set your font color right here. So now we'll continue on, and we have a text block that I brought in, and it's this block here. So we have three settings for our text block. We have a text, we have an image left, and an image right. And I will show you the difference in how these work. I'm going to grab an image from here. And let's make that a little smaller. I have a couple of these. So now you'll see that this left column is saved for the image. And what happens when I add text to the right column, which is a text column, is that I can continue to add text, but this image is going to occupy this whole left column, so there's no text wrapping. If you wanted to be able to wrap text around an image, you would choose just the plain text layout here. And we'll drop our text in again, and let's say I wanted it to be on the right side, right over on this corner, and wrap through this text. I'm going to put my cursor here. I'm going to use the image button in the editor panel at the top, and I'll grab that same image, and I can also edit the image size here. So get it about the same size as this image, and I'm going to place it on the right. So you can click on the image that you upload through the image insert button in the editor, and you can choose the alignment here. And now we can see that wherever I place it in the text, that text will wrap around. So in the image left or image right plus text, there's no wrapping. In the text only, using the image insert button at the top, you can wrap text around the image, and you can also stretch or shrink that image by grabbing that left corner. So let's keep going. In PandaDoc, you can use various types of images, and I have that listed here. We can use PNG, JPEG, GIF, and SVG files. And you can also see that in the image block I have an animated GIF or GIF, and you can certainly use those in PandaDoc. Now, you have in an image block, which is what this is, and the image block is right here. You can just drop it in and add your images. And in this one, you see that it's set at 1. You can choose 1 across, 2 across, or 3 across, depending on how you want to set this up. So we'll grab some images and drop them in here. It's really, really easy to put them into the image areas. So now I have these 3 images. And they're all kind of pushed through the left, so I'm going to try to give them a little more balance. And you'll see that I have on the right-hand panel the settings for this image block. And I have it set at 3 images across, and then I can align each image independently. So I'm going to say the left image I want it to be centered, the second image I want it to be centered, and the right image I want it to be centered. So now we have a little more balance. And as you can see, you can independently align each image in the image block. Here I have it set at 2 images across. You'll notice that I have not uploaded an image here. Look what happens when I preview this. And this is what it would look like if sent to your customer. So you'll see that even though I have an S2 across and there's an image placeholder sitting here on my working version, it's not going to show up in your final document. And again, we can change it to one big image. So here we have some tables, and we can create some really unique layouts by adding images into the tables. So I'm going to create a 2-column table here. I'm going to use my image insert button. I'm going to grab a few images. I'm going to use these round images in here. And one more. So now I have 3 images, and right now they're displaying at their full size, which is 100% of the original image size. But let's say I want them to be really tiny. So if I take this column header and shrink the size of that first column, you'll see that the images shrink with the column space available. Let's take this out for now. And then I can add my text to the right column. And it still looks like a table. So I don't want it to look like a table. I'm going to click on it. And when I come over, I have the settings for my table. I'm going to turn off that header. And I'm also going to turn off the borders. So now it just looks like left aligned images, right aligned text. So kind of like descriptions. You can also leave on the horizontal borders, and it gives you that little bit of accent. So let's keep going here. I think you noticed earlier that with our images, we have a block and it takes up space based on whether or not the image is very tall or very wide. So a very tall image is going to take up a lot of space down the page. So our image block and our image insert buttons are going to maintain that original aspect ratio. But you'll notice on our image block we can't shrink this. So that's going to take up a good bit, probably a full page on its own. And that's probably not something that we would want to do. So I might actually prefer to have gaps in the table, and I can add it through the image insert button here and manage how much space that takes up by shrinking my column. And then again, we can take our text and sit it over to the right here. And I want to turn off the borders in the header. And I'll add another set of text here. And we can kind of balance it based on how much text you have and how much image coverage you want. But that's, again, a nice accent. Let's take a look at the page headers. Here in the header, we have 3 options, just like the text box. We have text-only headers. You can have an image left or an image right. And you can also use the image insert button right here. And we'll shrink that down a little bit. Again, make it go, we can add a secondary image. So I wanted to use my image and a client image in the same, in the header. I could do that. I'm going to just delete this. And now we'll see that I can change that logo from left or right. And you can do the same with the upload button. You can set it left or right. And now it's super big. Make it super small. And I can also center it if I use that image insert button right here. And here, again, we can change the color of our heading, change that to blue. But let's take a look at what happens if we go to More and Design, and we can set our styles in our design panel. So the heading font, Right now it's just our standard heading font. I'm going to change that to one of these options. We'll use Railway, and I will change this to Ravello Slab. And let's change that to Source Sans Pro. There we go. So now I have updated my fonts to give it a little more customization. And again, I go to More and Design. And let's say my brand color is this blue. So I'm going to grab that hex code and I'm going to make that my theme color here. And now we will see that theme applied to any of our H3 blocks. Well, I've overwritten that one. Let's get a new one in here. And this is a theme header. And that is on the H3 block. So you notice H1 is going to continue to be black, H2, but when you change that theme color, it applies to the H3 heading block. You'll also notice that if I grab a table, my table heading is now that blue. So when you update the theme in design, that theme color automatically applies to the table heading and that H3 block. You can also set a background here on that gray area, and you'll just upload your background image, or you can choose one of the images that we have in our library. You just turn it on, and it's going to fill the screen. And you can take a look and see what some of these look like. So it just gives it a little more customization. You can put some of your brand imagery back here, and it makes a lovely presentation on the web view. Also, if you have some experience, basic understanding of CSS, you can go into and edit the CSS styles. We do have a webinar coming up on working with advanced styles through CSS. You're welcome to sign up for that webinar as well. Let's stop for a moment and see if we have any questions out there.
No questions as of yet, Tara. As of everybody, if you do have questions along the way, please let us know. We can go through those together. Otherwise, let's keep on going. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, James. Okay, so sizing the images, one thing you want to keep in mind when you're creating images to add into PandaDoc is that your web images don't have to be of a very large size. However, when your customer goes to print this or download it as a PDF, print resolution is 300 pixels, so it requires a pretty large image to give you a good print quality, which is why we recommend these sizes on the cover page. So when you're working with your images and getting them prepared to upload into PandaDoc, I recommend that you set them at 200 pixels. So whatever size setting them at 200 pixels makes them is the size that I would use. A couple of other points to note. You can set up your brand settings here in the settings area. Your branding for, this is your logo for the outgoing messages that you send to your recipients. Be sure that you follow this aspect ratio. It says here 200 by 50 pixels. You can bring it in a little bit larger, but you want to maintain that aspect ratio. So you might bring one in at 400 by 100. And this is simply your workspace icon here. One other note is we recommend you use PNGs, especially for your outgoing mail logo. And you can also customize the footer of that outgoing message. Also, if you go to our add-on store here, you'll see that you can enable or disable various functionality in PandaDoc. And that'll load in just a moment. The pieces that we were talking about today are branding. That's where I just showed you that you can add your own logo and your footer message. And then document themes. So we'll show you that now. Now, we did want you to see that you can enable or disable these if you are the account owner and if you don't want to have these options on. I think we would also want to see the content and image libraries. This is another that you can enable or disable. Again, this is where you can store images in that library. So let's go back to our template, Design Basics, and again we want to save this as a theme. So I'm going to go back to More and Design, and right here on the bottom it says Save as New Theme. So we'll call this Design Basics theme. You can create multiple themes in PandaDoc. Now what happens if I create a new template and I want to apply this theme? I go to More and Design and Themes. And right here, we'll just apply that, and you'll see that it automatically has that background image that I have set. I can check my heading. If I change it to H3, you see that it takes on the color in the table. And we can see that it also has those fonts set. So it's keeping that theme for me. The only thing that it does not save is your cover page image. And again, you can grab that from your image library here where it can be stored. So it makes it easy to create consistency from your branding. You can also, if you are only going to ever have one theme for your whole workspace, you can apply a default theme here. And here's the theme that I just created. If I apply it, it will apply the theme to all of the templates and all of the content library items in this workspace. So that's all I have for you guys today. I wanted to share some design information. I know that some of you have questions about the image blocks versus the image insert, and hopefully that clarified that. Also wanted to make sure I shared with you that you can use animated GIFs, that you can use our tables to format columnar layouts and manage the spacing and size. If you have questions further, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. I appreciate you joining us today, and we'll check one more time to see if there are any questions. Doesn't look like it. Make sure you download the handouts if you haven't already, and have a great afternoon. Thank you.